My teenage nieces stole my wife's wig and humiliated her. Now they are begging for me not to make them homeless. My wife is a cancer patient and she unfortunately started losing her hair due to chemotherapy. She's been incredibly insecure about losing her hair because she loved styling it before. She also has a YouTube channel mainly focusing on its maintenance and styling. Before she started losing her hair, it was down to her waist and she asked me to cut all of it. It was the lowest point of our lives and I feel that she hasn't got over it because she still cries and watches her blogs sometimes. She got a wig and started wearing it and she only wears it around family and friends. Anyway, my sister lost her apartment after a messy divorce and moved in with her twin daughters almost a month ago. Things have been going well except for my niece's constant remarks about my wife's wig. They got so hung up on it and kept asking lots of questions about it. They asked to take turns trying it on, suggested they straighten it with the straightener and so on, which was exhausting. They even pressured me to see her without it, but my wife was uncomfortable and refused. Yesterday I got home and found that my wife was locking herself in the bedroom and crying. I asked what happened. She told me she woke up and didn't find her wig, then discovered my nieces took it and hid, then urged her to come out so they could see her without it. My wife repeatedly asked them to give it back, but they started laughing and recording. My wife had to lock the door to keep a distance because they didn't stop. I felt horrible, and just thinking about how this is all coming from my nieces is unfathomable. I feel mostly horrible for how my wife is feeling right now. This subject in particular has brought her enough grief already. I kept reassuring her there's nothing to be insecure about, but what happened ruined any progress we made. I was fuming when I went into the kitchen and one of my nieces was wearing the wig and taking pictures. I confronted them, and they acted confused, but I was able to get the wig back. I snatched it from the niece's hair and some of her hair was pulled too. I lashed out telling them they humiliated my wife and embarrassed her by taking away her wig. They said it was just a lighthearted prank, which made me go off on them. My sister got involved and said my wife was just being too sensitive and the girls were just curious to see her without a wig, but she overreacted. I told her daughters were recording her. She saw nothing wrong in it and said I overreacted as well. I lost it on her too and told her she and my nieces were no longer welcome to stay at my home and they needed to leave. My sister rolled her eyes and made my nieces go to their room. She didn't seem bothered at all and told me to stop overreacting. Then she patted my shoulder and told me that she would make her daughter apologize, but I also had to apologize to them and tell them that making them leave was just a heat of the moment. She went to their room after. Today, I let them know about the eviction since they thought I wasn't serious and my sister started crying begging that I let it go. But my wife is no longer comfortable around them after what they did and she has not left our room since. It was unfair for my wife because this is her house too. My sister called our elderly dad and he begged that I let them stay and insisted my nieces were just acting like typical teenagers. He offered to speak to my wife but I declined. They've been begging me to change my mind but I kept refusing. My sister then screamed at me that I am choosing a dying beach over her and my nieces. I was shocked to hear this from her. She then proceeded to tell me that my wife would likely die anyway, so why am I being so sensitive? My brain could not handle all the words coming from her and I needed to strain myself not to hurt her. It was painful and disappointing to hear this from a person I've known to be so kind. I made them leave today and was called several names. She also said that I would regret this. But I don't think I will.